All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching this webinar on how to create a Medicare OIG compliance manual. There's no audio taping or videotaping allowed, and any unauthorized reproduction, dispensing, forwarding, or copying of this target coding presentation is illegal. The information contained in this presentation is not intended to be a substitute for your thorough clinical decision making. It's not intended to be legal advice. Target coding does not engage in providing legal services. Every attempt has been made to make certain that the information in this webinar is 100% accurate. However, it's not guaranteed. A little bit about myself before we get started. My name is Dr. Marty Kotler. I'm a chiropractor. I'm also a certified professional compliance officer. I'm a certified billing and coding specialist. And, I guess I have a little bit of an unconventional approach to billing and coding compliance. Look at it this way. Most chiropractors are not certified coders, and most certified coders are not chiropractors. So a little bit of a unique approach I take towards helping doctors bill, code, maximize reimbursement. Just want to make sure doctors are not leaving any money on the table, implementing things properly. Just want to make sure you're doing things right and you're maximizing reimbursement. I also have written many training manuals on billing, coding, and documentation, not only for chiropractors, but for physical therapists and acupuncturists. I write articles to numerous publications and journals throughout the country on billing and coding and documentation, and I'm a guest speaker at many state association conferences nationwide. Okay, let's begin. So OIG, what is that, OIG? OIG stands for Office of Inspector General. And the mission, the purpose of the OIG is to protect federally funded programs from being ripped off, protect federally funded programs from being scammed. There are a lot of criminals out there that want to take advantage. These white-collar crimes are very common, so the OIG wants to protect these federally funded programs. Well, guess what? Chiropractic is covered by Medicare. So the OIG wants to make sure that we're behaving. There have been many reports on chiropractic services. Not so positive, unfortunately. A few of these here I'm showing you on the screen. And it's not only us. This is a physical therapy center that had to give back $29 million for improperly billing Medicare. There's another report that came out not too long ago on chiropractic. Hundreds of millions in Medicare payments for chiropractic services did not comply with Medicare requirements. So Medicare just wants to make sure that we are doing our best. So Medicare OIG wants providers to be proactive. What does that mean? I'm going to share with you some of the things that you can do to be proactive. One of them is having formal staff trainings and documenting them in a training manual. Now, I get this question all the time. Why do I need one of these billing and coding manuals? Well, I have three reasons. One, your staff. Your staff would like organization. I speak to hundreds of CAs, and they all tell me, I just want to work in a trustworthy atmosphere, ethical atmosphere. I want my supervisors to train me, to guide me. I want organization, leadership. Next reason, if you're ever audited by an insurance company and you have a billing and coding manual, it'll mitigate fines. It might even shut down the whole investigation, just the fact that you have a billing and coding manual. And for you, the doctor, it's a great way for you to create a policies and procedures customized for you, what you do. So if anybody comes knocking on the door, you could say, hey, this is our story. This is the way we do things. All right, let me just ask you a couple of quick Medicare questions. You ready? Can you treat Medicare patients without being enrolled in the Medicare program? Absolutely not. If you are not billing Medicare, you can't be in the middle. This is what I mean by in the middle. Chiropractors will say to me, I'm not in Medicare. I haven't billed Medicare in years. I don't even know if I have a Medicare number, but I see Medicare patients. They just pay me cash and they sign an ABN form and I don't bill Medicare. That's illegal. I'm not saying this to scare you. This is just to educate you. I'm sharing with you, do not do that. Either you're enrolled in Medicare and you're billing Medicare, or do not see Medicare patients at all. Do not see Medicare patients at all. You can't be in the middle. So the answer to that question is, can you treat Medicare patients without being formally enrolled in the Medicare program? The answer is absolutely not. Can chiropractors opt out of Medicare? No. Can you collect cash from Medicare patients without billing Medicare? Yes, but step one, you have to be enrolled. Step two, the patient gets to wellness maintenance. Step three, you give them an ABN form and they check no. Option two, that's how you can collect cash from Medicare patients without billing Medicare. So here's some more information if you wanted to dig deeper. Chiropractors cannot opt out of Medicare. You could read more about that in the Medicare Benefit Policy Manual. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, being in the middle. Some chiropractors, well, I'm not in Medicare, I'm not enrolled in Medicare, but give the patient an ABN form. Well, just a little heads up. If you are not enrolled in the Medicare program, you're not allowed to use the ABN form. What did you say, Dr. Kotler? Yes. Medicare says the ABN form is our form. We own that form. If you are not enrolled in the Medicare program, you can't use our forms. That's the way Medicare looks at it. So you want to read more about that right there. Check out the Medicare Claims Processing Manual. And, because this is such a hot topic and many people get confused when I go over this. So here's a document right from Medicare in the bottom right corner. Misinformation number 4. It says doctors of chiropractic may not opt out of Medicare, noting that opting out and being non-par are not the same things. Chiropractors may decide to be par or non-par with regard to Medicare, but they may not opt out. I hope I made that clear. So, a billing and coding policy manual. Now, this is not only about Medicare. Most of the doctors that I work with are not 100% Medicare practices. I would say approximately 20% of the most of the practices that I work with, about 20% of the practice is Medicare. So what about the 80%? Well, you may be billing Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna. So I get that question all the time, Dr. Kotler. Do I need a billing and coding policy manual if I don't see Medicare patients? My answer would be yes, especially if you're collecting a lot of money from one particular insurance plan. I call it the 35% rule, which means if you're collecting more than 35% from one particular insurance plan, then you should put together a simple billing and coding policy manual based on that particular insurance plan's policy, and you can prove to anybody that comes snooping around that, hey, I am following all the rules, all the guidelines, and you'll be left alone. It's like getting pulled over by the police. It's a random check. You get pulled over, one of these spot checks. You have your license, you have your registration, you have your insurance card. You don't have any drugs or illegal guns in the car. You'll just be let go. Okay, next. So if you have a billing and coding policy manual, whether it's for Medicare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Cigna, and you get pulled over, so to speak, and you show the people that are knocking on your door that you have a policy manual, they'll go, oh, wow, this is very good. You're one of the good guys. Next, and you'll move on. Very important. Like I have a client right now in Arizona. His practice is right next to a building. It's the Bank of America building. Everybody has Aetna. There are 400 people in this building. They all have Aetna. This doctor's practice is 70 to 80% Aetna patients. So I would recommend he put together a billing and coding policy manual based on those Aetna patients. So a policy manual should be based on these 7 essentials. That's what they're called, the 7 essentials. You should see them on your screen right now. So here's a couple of samples. Doing an internal review. This is a sample policy right out of the Target Coding Billing and Coding Policy and Procedure Manual. Policy 1.2, the backbone of any compliance plan is reviewing and monitoring components. Without them, we would not know if we're being successful. Like, how do you know you need an oil change? Unless you lift up, lift up in the hood and you check the oil, or the light comes flashing on your dashboard. But you won't know unless you check it out. Same thing here with your notes. How do you know your notes are good unless you do a spot check and evaluate them? So the way we do it here at Target Coding with our clients is I've put together this chart audit review tool. Very simple tool. There's about 20 yes or no questions that you would ask yourself. It's basically an open book test, and you score yourself. This particular sample, this doctor scored a 90%. Another policy that, this is mandatory. This is something that's so important, but most doctors don't do it. If you're about to hire, let's say you're a very busy chiropractic practice and you want to hire an associate chiropractor. And your associate chiropractor is going to be treating Medicare patients. Do not hire the associate chiropractor until you go to the exclusions list. There it is on the website, exclusions.oig.hhs.gov. Put that chiropractor's name into the exclusions list. If that chiropractor's name pops up as being excluded from the Medicare program, do not hire that, at least do not hire that chiropractor to treat Medicare patients. If you hired a chiropractor and you didn't check the exclusions list, and this chiropractor is excluded from the Medicare program, and this chiropractor has been treating Medicare patients, and Medicare finds out, oh boy, this is a major problem. You'd have to give all the money back plus fines and penalties. It's a quick check. Upon hire, once a year, do this background check. Here's a screenshot of that list. Next, staff training, 3 hours per year. Here's a quick log that you could put together. This is our sample employee training log. You might have an employee come up to the doctor and say, hey, I just went to a chiropractic seminar, or I listened to a webinar. We're not billing right. We're waiving deductibles, copays. I don't think we're billing right. Be careful. You cannot retaliate by saying, what did you say, Jennifer? You don't think we're billing right? Just want to let you know you're fired. Can't retaliate that way. Take those compliance concerns. Let the staff member know. You'll check into it. A little bit about Stark and anti-kickback. So Stark prohibits a provider from referring patients to an entity which the provider or an immediate family member has a financial interest in, and it's for designated health services. Anti-kickback basically means you are not allowed to pay someone for referrals. There are some safe harbors. There's a good reference there at the bottom. And I'm also not a fan of giving away services for free. Be very careful about giving away free services. You may think it's just like, hey, what's the big deal if I want to give away, a free exam? Ask this chiropractor, this doctor from Iowa. He got fined nearly $80,000. Chiropractor has agreed to pay $79,919 to resolve allegations that he violated the False Claims Act by improperly billing Medicare for chiropractic adjustments after providing free electrical stim. So this chiropractor was giving away free stim. I don't know how the OIG and Medicare find out. $80,000 fine. Do not give away free services. That's my basic recommendation. Here's another chiropractor and his wife had to plead guilty to federal charges. Scamming, scheming. These chiropractors committed healthcare fraud. Indiana. This Tennessee chiropractor had to pay back more than $1.45 million to resolve False Claims Act allegations. And some of these things may have been occurring without the doctor even realizing he or she was doing something wrong. So you want to give a discount? There's another thing. You want to discount a patient? Yeah, you could offer a a prompt pay discount. That's what I call it. I don't really call it a time of service discount anymore. I don't call it an administrative discount. Those are the terms I used to use. Those are the older terms. The proper current term to use is prompt pay discount. Sure, you can give a patient a little bit of a discount. Contact us and we can go over that in detail. The other thing is, I don't know if you ever heard of the $75 rule. The OIG came out with a statement. Can you give away free services? Well, can't be more than $15 each time or $75 total for the year. So a little heads up on that. What about deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance? This is a problem. Well, I don't know if I want to call it a problem, but patients will come into your office. They want to receive care in network and definitely out of network, but even in network nowadays, deductibles could be $5,000, $7,000, $10,000. You'll never get to tap into the insurance benefits. So how do you handle those patients? Contact us. We have a whole training course on that. We have a webinar on that. But basically, the deductible is the amount that the patient has to pay prior to the insurance company kicking in. Co-insurance is usually for out-of-network providers. You must attempt to collect the co-pays, deductibles, and co-insurance. Co-pay is typically in-network. Routine waiver of deductibles and co-pays could result in false claims. That could be a big problem. Now, there's a big difference between Medicare and HIPAA. Medicare compliance is to prevent billing and coding errors. Main purpose of HIPAA is to protect patient health information. So a little bit about HIPAA. It's been around a while. It's been around over 20 years. Most of you are covered entities. You might not even realize that. Are you a covered entity? I'll ask you two simple questions. Do you bill or receive payment from insurance companies? You do? Yes, you do? Well, you are a covered entity. Do you submit claims electronically? If you answered yes, 100% you're a covered entity. So you might not even realize you're a covered entity. If you're a covered entity, you are required to follow the HIPAA rules. And there's a whole bunch of things here. Sign-in sheets. Are you allowed to have sign-in sheets? Can you email patients? Do you have to have a backup procedure in place? There's a flood, a fire, and you lose patient information. What do? Can you email patients? Do you have antivirus software installed? A whole bunch of key points here with HIPAA. There's an interesting little question here. Did ESPN violate HIPAA? Jason Pierre-Paul, pretty well-known football player, went to the hospital. He was fooling around with fireworks, and he blew off his finger. Well, the hospital employee gave the information to ESPN. ESPN posted it on their Facebook page and Twitter account, the full chart. So the question is, did ESPN violate HIPAA? Yes or no? The answer is no. Why? ESPN doesn't bill insurance. ESPN is not a covered entity. There's been a lot of these HIPAA violations. This doctor, he went to jail because of a HIPAA violation. He was spying and snooping on many famous people coming into UCLA Medical Center. 13 employees were fired, 6 were suspended for snooping on Britney Spears' charts. Michael Jackson's physician reported a HIPAA violation that happened under his care. Kim Kardashian, also HIPAA violations. 14 employees were fired. Now look, you shouldn't think that HIPAA and Medicare and billing and coding compliance is going to paralyze you. I work with some doctors. They're so concerned about this that it doesn't allow them to relax and enjoy their practice. That's not the purpose of HIPAA or Medicare or any rule or guideline. Create policies that are affordable for your practice, that are practical and reasonable. Now, there are a whole bunch of HIPAA forms that you should be aware of. HIPAA Notice of Privacy Practices, Authorization to Release Information, Confidential Information, Testimonial Release. We have a whole bunch of these forms if you're interested here. Patient request for confidential information. A patient might say, hey, don't call me at home. Don't call me in the office. I only want you to call me on my cell phone. Have them fill out this form so everybody's on the same page. You want a testimonial? You want a patient to say, hey, I want to tell you about my wonderful experience here. You want to take a photo of them and put it on your wall in your waiting room? Just have them sign one of these consent forms. Background check, little checklist on how to do a background check. So with HIPAA, make sure you do a security risk assessment, create policies and procedures, hold formal staff trainings, provide that HIPAA notice to all new patients, get all the HIPAA forms signed. If you need assistance, contact us. We offer HIPAA and Medicare compliance programs. You want to try and do it on your own, this is a great reference right here. Here's another one to do a security risk assessment. And I just want to give you my 9-step action plan. Step 1, get proactive. Step 2, review all new patient paperwork prior to seeing the patient. Step 3, get all patient forms signed. The history, the review of systems, the assignment of benefits, the financial policies, informed consent, the HIPAA notice. Step 4, get the policies on chiropractic from all the insurance companies that you bill. We supply that in our compliance manuals. You bill Aetna, we'll give you Aetna's policy. Cigna, United Healthcare, whatever plan that you bill, we will find the chiropractic policy for you, go over it with you so you know what the deal is. For example, there are some Blue Cross Blue Shield policies that require a re-exam every 30 days. Make sure you do it. Some policies say that you have to show that the patient is improving within 2 weeks. Make sure on or around that 6th visit, if you're seeing patients 3 times a week, that you show there's improvement. Step 5, understand the what and the why. Your CPT codes, your procedure codes, are what you're doing, and the ICD-10 diagnosis codes are why you're doing it. Make sure they're correct. Make sure they could justify medical necessity, or else you'll have to give the money back. When you get paid by an insurance company, that's not the end of the situation. Unfortunately, when you get paid by an insurance company, there's a chance you may have to give the money back. How do you prevent that uncomfortable feeling that you might have to give the money back? Look at the what and the why. For example, you'll get audited if you're billing 97110, that's therapeutic exercises, and the patient does not display any type of functional deficit like weak muscles or range of motion deficits. You have to give the money back. Do a self-test on your SOAP notes. Make sure you know what to look for per insurance company. For example, the Medicare requirements on a SOAP note are different than Cigna. Cigna is different than Aetna. Aetna is different than United Healthcare for sure. PI notes are totally different than Medicare notes. Step 7. Find out what a medically necessary SOAP note looks like and implement it. Find out what an insurance company policy manual looks like and implement that as soon as possible. You know, insurance companies, when they do audits, they know this is profitable. One very reliable source told me that every dollar that insurance companies spend on audits, they get back $14 to $17. It's profitable for them. You don't want to make them more profitable, right? Step 8, put together a simple billing policy manual that explains what you do and why you do it. For example, in my practice, if a patient came in and said, Dr. Kotler, my neck hurts. Okay, Mrs. Jones, how about your middle back? No, lower back is fine. Lower back is fine. Arms, legs, headaches? No, it's just my neck. I still check their entire spine. If I felt I needed to adjust L5 or T8, I did it. If they needed a knee adjustment, I did it. But why am I doing that? You need a policy on that. There have been audits on that where insurance companies have looked at the notes and it says, Dr. Kotler, it looks like you're adjusting the full spine, all 5 regions, but you're only billing us 98940. Why? We don't understand. Are you downcoding? Also, take a look at your fee schedule. Are you billing auto insurance companies $250 a visit, and then a patient comes in that pays cash and you're doing the same thing and you're charging $50? That's illegal. Step 9, conduct regular staff meetings, especially with the staff that does your billing, and especially to the insurance companies that pay you the most. Also, if you're using a billing company, do a spot check. Couple of situations recently where billing companies are adding modifiers. They're billing for services that the doctor didn't render. The doctor didn't even know. I'm involved with a couple of cases right now. This is a major problem. The doctor might have to sue the billing company because the insurance company is asking for a lot of money back. The billing company were doing illegal things. Do spot checks on your billing company. And these two doctors that I'm referring to, they didn't even know anything was going on until the insurance company came knocking on the door. So follow these 9 steps. Do it so you could SWAN. That's my favorite acronym. SWAN. It means sleep well at night. So just a few closing comments. Check with all the carriers you bill prior to submitting claims. We can't guarantee that this is going to guarantee payment from any insurance company or patient. I want to thank everybody for attending. Here's my email, my direct email. Feel free to email me directly, drkotler@targetcoding.com. There's our website, telephone number. We have a HIPAA secure fax number. If you wanted to fax us a patient chart, just use that HIPAA secure fax number. If you want to email us patient charts to review, make sure you use our HIPAA secure email service or use your own so we could see it, make sure it's encrypted. Besides these webinars, we do seminars, we sell videos, we do on-site consulting, we have membership programs, we do hourly consulting, HIPAA and Medicare compliance programs. We have a chiropractic, Medicare, and HIPAA forms, logs, and templates packet that we sell. You get more than 75 chiropractic, physical therapy, acupuncture, Medicare, and HIPAA forms, logs, and templates. There's a sample of what they look like right there. We break them down into new patient categories, financial, administrative, exams, and treatment plans. We have 10 sample soap notes, a whole bunch of letters of medical necessity, appeal letters. We have some physical therapy forms, acupuncture sample soap notes, whole section on Medicare, and you get our 23 HIPAA forms. This is the order form, so let us know if you're interested in our forms packet. We also have a book on the best chiropractic ICD-10 and CPT codes to improve reimbursement. A lot of people tell me this is their favorite part of the book. For example, if you're going to diagnose a patient with cervical radiculopathy, what ortho-neuro-chiro test should you do? We give you the answers, a little Jackson compression, check reflexes, check for range of motion. So these descriptions will help you justify the CPT codes and the ICD-10 codes you're billing. The book also provides the justification for every CPT code. There's a great section here. Another section that people say they love are the FAQs, like what's the difference between radiculopathy, myelopathy, and radiculitis? What's the difference between cervical brachial syndrome and cervical radiculitis? So just some of these common questions I've been gathering over the last 10 years. Some of these I did not know the answer to, so I had to get some experts in the field to help me answer some of these questions. And here's a whole bunch of diagnosis codes here in the cervical region that relate to therapeutic exercises. There's the definition of therapeutic exercises, more than you would see in a basic CPT code book. So we have a book, we have videos. Here's our compliance manual. Even if you're not seeing any Medicare patients, we could put together a billing and coding compliance manual. Acupuncture, we work with a lot of acupuncturists now, so we put together an acupuncture billing and coding policy manual. Our Medicare policy manual, customizable. We personalize the policies and procedures for your practice. We give you all the training forms and logs, the chart audit tools, $75 rule, ABNs, sample ABNs, the prompt pay discount information, and opt-out rules. Can't get away from HIPAA. Just about every journal, magazine that I read nowadays, there's something about HIPAA, some HIPAA violations or rules and guidelines about HIPAA. So we have a comprehensive and basic. We have 2 types of HIPAA programs. some doctors say, you know what, I'm a sole practitioner. I don't have any employees. I have one desktop computer. Do I need to be HIPAA compliant? Well, we have a basic HIPAA program and a comprehensive HIPAA program. We have some clients that, we just brought on a HIPAA client. This doctor has 55 employees. It's a different approach to a practice that has 55 employees versus a chiropractor that's a sole practitioner, no staff, one computer. It's a different program. We customize it differently. It has to be different. And we also offer some membership programs, and we do seminars and webinars. We have a seminar coming up on MD, DCP, chiropractic, acupuncture, physical therapy, integration seminar coming up. We also have some webinars coming up on physical therapy, acupuncture. So again, I want to thank everybody for attending. I hope you learned a lot.